Well, Tony, why are you looking ahead to next year? Why can't you stick with this year? Now, I'm going to show you exactly why it's a great idea to look towards the very next season. Because this is how I've correctly predicted the 49ers to lose the Super Bowl to the Chiefs. In Gematria, it is the three-peat. That is Gematria 59. It'd be Super Bowl 59. This is how, at the very least, you can predict the Chiefs to beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl because of the year of Super Bowl 59. A team will go for a three-peat. So a team is going for a three-peat in Super Bowl 59. That, by conclusion, the Niners had no chance. Now, that's not a guarantee that they do win Super Bowl 59. It is the Superdome that is Gematria 59, so the Super Bowl next year at the Superdome, a team going for the three-peat. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen again. I have predicted the Chiefs to lose to Aaron Rodgers in the Jets in the playoffs next year. Now, Caesars is Gematria 66. That's the sponsor of the Super Bowl. Basically, it's been 66 years since the Lions have made it to a title game. So my top futures bet for next year, obviously the AFC, it's much more competitive. Like there's too many elite quarterbacks in the AFC. So by conclusion, the Lions should be the easiest bet next year to win the NFC. That's probably the best future because there's no competition in the NFC. The Lions are going to get better. They're younger. The 49ers are injury prone. They have a game managing quarterback and they barely beat a team that didn't have any playoff experience. So the Lions are on the ascendancy for next year. The Ravens are going to win their 21st playoff game over at Caesars Superdome. Rather, that would be John Harbaugh that's going to win his 21st playoff game as a head coach over at the Caesars Superdome. So let me just show you that very quickly. Or never mind, that's wins in total for the Ravens franchise. So again, when you see the headlines, it makes a lot of sense. The Fox News headline, 30 years without a title for the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan and Purdy have Gematria 30. So right there, the Ravens, I got them winning their 21st game over at the Caesars Superdome. The Lions going for their first title in 66 years. Instead, the Ravens' 21st playoff win will be to win the title. And for the Lions to make a championship game, to go for their first championship in 66 years, Baltimore Ravens, Gematria 66. Now, three-peat is Gematria of Lamar. So it may not necessarily mean Lamar Jackson is going to deny the three-peat because, again, Louisiana is where Doug Williams is born at. He's the only 100% black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. So at Louisiana, Lamar's going to win. And General Jackson won the War of 1812. 12 years later, the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl again. So, all the money was on the Chiefs. That's bad news. The house can't have Chiefs win the Super Bowl. Well, the key to all this, all of the big bets were on the 41ers. So all these little rich limousine, big tech liberals, they drove over. They bet $400,000 on the Super Bowl. You can read about it. The vast majority of the futures were on the 49ers. Vegas didn't care about that. Majority of the bets were on the prop bets. Kelsey didn't score a touchdown, whatever. Mahomes, he didn't go over 2 touchdowns, so... it didn't matter that the majority had the Chiefs. It's these little prop bets that Vegas cashed in on. The only bad one was the game to go to overtime. That was like the only costly one. But anyways, continuing. Lamar's Gematria 45 in New Orleans, Gematria 45. Now the key to all of this, Lamar Jackson scored 59 points over by his birth town. his first start as a permanent starter in the NFL. So again, this is all going to connect to Doug Williams. Lamar Jackson will be the 35th quarterback to win the Super Bowl. Doug Williams is Gematria 35. He'll be the first full-blooded black quarterback to win since Doug Williams. I mean, Mahomes has blue eyes. He looks, he looks kind of white to me. He looks like an Oreo a little bit. I mean, he's not full. The thing about this, you know, Obama, we haven't had a 100% black president either. Obama was half black, half white. So white supremacists run the show. So for me, Patrick Mahomes can't lose to Lamar Jackson. But Patrick Mahomes does lose as a half black quarterback, losing to Joe Burrow, who's white, losing to Tom Brady, who's white, and now losing to Aaron Rodgers. So the first repeat was won since the Super Bowl at New York. And Mecole Hardman started the season with the Jets, scored the game-winning touchdown at the Super Bowl. So, the Chiefs are going to face off against the Jets in the playoffs. And again, you can see the video at the end. They won the first repeat since Super Bowl 39. Steve Spagnuolo did win a Super Bowl with New York before he came over to Kansas City. And the Kansas City Chiefs are going to go for the three-peat against the New York Jets in the playoffs. And so again, Ravens in the Super Bowl next year, there's going to be no three-peat, but it's not Lamar that's going to beat the Chiefs. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers that's going to defeat the Chiefs. And you can see the full video at the end. This is not the video. This is not the Jets-Chiefs video. This is about, just breaking down that there's a narrative for the three-peat, that you have to look towards next season. This is how, by conclusion, if you did this in the calculator before the Super Bowl, that you knew that there was no chance the Niners were going to win. Caesar Superdome is Gematria of 65, repeat Gematria 65. Now, we can type in the three-peat in Gematria. The three-peat is Gematria of Mahomes, Patrick. So, there's a narrative for it, but there's no guarantee it's going to happen because, number one, Mahomes would kind of eclipse Tom Brady if he did. So, it would kind of make Patrick Mahomes immortal, but this Gematria Patrick is interesting because 7 Super Bowls for Brady, 8 for Patrick. Like, is he ever gonna chase Brady? And, Montana's come out to 78. I kind of broke down Joe Montana before. But what's interesting about that is City of New Orleans is Gematria Patrick. But also, the Ravens connection from Cleveland. Cleveland's Gematria 78. So, the 78's gonna be pretty dominant. I like the 3 for 3 in the Super Bowl for the Ravens next year. I knew the Chiefs would win the AFC. I knew they'd beat the Niners in the Super Bowl, but just gotta go with Baltimore next year. The Super Bowl logo is red, but no guarantee it's gonna happen that way. Now, 8th loss for Andy Reid. It just screams Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, these two candidates. But then when I think about Andy Reid's 16-7 playoff record, I go all the way back to Super Bowl III when the Jets won the championship. So the Jets would have to face off against the Chiefs. New York pretty much had all the big upsets. The Jets over the Colts to usher in the merger. You had the Giants upsetting the Patriots, and now the Jets can upset the Chiefs. Aaron Rodgers would defeat Patrick Mahomes in his only matchup. The Chiefs are going to go for the three-peat, and we just have to be aware of the double code. What really does it for me is the Chiefs' 22nd playoff loss to Aaron Rodgers is what really does it for me. And the Jets could go for their first divisional title in 22 years. That just a narrative exists, but They could do this on the road. Who knows if the Chargers end up being good or anything of that nature, but I sense at some point that Aaron Rodgers is going to defeat he's going to face off against the Chiefs next year, and it will be a Broadway Joe, a Broadway Aaron Rodgers moment for next year. But 17 wins again. This connects to Doug Williams, number 17, 17th season of John Harbaugh. So I'm going with the General Jackson, the Doug Williams, born at Louisiana Ingalls, when it's all said and done.